Another one, I wanted to talk about the blue cards. If you didn't know, that new cooler leader is buffing all the blue cards with that card TDD. This card is basically rewriting the text on a lot of the old blue cards that were bad back in the day because they only thing they did was bounce back to the hand, and that was kind of a -1 on you, and they can just play the card again next turn. Back then, to its point, it was slow enough where you can still recover from that. But now that is too far inefficient, and cooler, or the card in cooler, the field card, I believe so, it's making that really buffed. And today I want to get into a few cards that kind of benefits off the buff of that extra card. Starting off, we'll start off with some of the biggies that's been floating around. SS Goku, he the one that just bounce stuff back to your hand, but with that extra card, they go back to the bottom of the deck, which is pretty strong. Same with some interactions with this Frieza, which you might have been seeing. But I wanted to add a third one to the caveat that we used to run that was a bit in between these two, and that is the Raditz, which has that bounce effect, that bounce back to hand that not a lot of people liked. But there were reasons why we ran it. It was I think this came out before Frieza too. The green Frieza. Blue just needed a solid blocker, and unison blockers are still great. But moving along, there were a few others that were affected by this, like All Too Easy, which bounces to hand. Same with Spirit Sword. Anybody that know, I used to rock this in Janemba. Just as an extra negate. Sometimes it hit, sometimes it didn't. I just needed you to keep you out the battle step. But that was another one that's going to be affected. This one is going to be like one of the strongest ones affected extra card attack wise, because this one bounces through barrier, and this is going to be very important. Even though we got the new concept rare coming out, if you don't see it, you got this too. Just another one to pick up on. Then we got not sure if the counter plays work, but you will confirm that with another one. I still gotta finish reading the Q&A, but some other ones that I do, 2 more counterplays in the form of battle cards. Hit will be cool. I remember when we were normally playing up to 5, 6, 7 energy, we used to drop hit a lot, and this is gonna be 2-for-1 removal that might come back into the fray, especially in the Kefla decks, since it's a U6 and it's searchable. Another one, man, I sure do want to throw this back in, and might, because we got outside of Beerus Ramp, SS3, you never really seen this card, but you might see it again. This used to be like the answer to certain SCRs and such. Just another way to play around. My other 2 is Vegito. We used to say this card was meh for the longest, but now it has a place in that deck. But I've still been working my way back in. As you've seen, I've been testing it out in my Gamma. But speaking of Super Saiyan 3, this was a classic Dragon Fist. This card was used to be a finisher as well as helped you extend, especially for those who used to rock the overrealms that cost energy, and you just Dragon Fist, swing, stand 2 up, and then overrealm for like that scientist food. Y'all know the combos. And for my last one, this one is a more obscure, only if you was like a specialist or really leaned into those theme decks, you would know what this card is, but if you don't, that's okay. Beerus, if you never was doing the other Whis deck that centralized around Beerus, this was like basically in there just to help clear board. Also, it could come out cheaply due to this permanent, but I see this card getting play again. And then there's like a dozen more, but I just wanted to keep you with these roughly 10. Have you found any more? Because I think the new blue cooler leader is going to be like an interesting toolbox to check out. But I know there's going to be some hardliners for the first few months that's just going to do like 90% arch tape. And you're only probably going to be able to fit like 2 or 3 of these cards, maybe, if you see them. But it's going to be tight for the first couple months, just as a learning curve for people to play the deck well. But that's my thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on that arch tape that's changing how blue is played and making it better? And have you found any other cards that say bounce back to hand? Because inside of that is going to be bottom deck. Honorable mentions Bisan, but that's for another day. There's like a few others, but we're gonna still polish it out. But I just wanted to give y'all a head start on some cool text later.